bad cop going today, and I guess I know what my role is here. And anybody who's been to a political fundraiser knows what the last speaker's all about. So the gates have been locked. And Al introduced the real tragedy that we had about 12, 13 years ago. And he talked about, how bad the city situation was, and it was terrible. We were, I think this was the front page of the Wall Street Journal, highlighted as the poster child for the worst run small town in America. You can look it up. December 2010, Wall Street Journal, just put in Wall Street Journal Half Moon Bay, and you will get a beautiful story about how badly this city was run. The city was driven to bankruptcy. The mayor was, let me see who the mayor was at the time. Oh, Debbie Runnick. How Debbie has gotten reelected, I mean, people must have amnesia in this city. Debbie is a wonderful person. She and I have great discussions. We talk politics, we talk government, we talk policy, but we do not agree on just about anything. And we need to figure out where we're going to go, because we are facing some very serious issues. This is a very, very difficult city to manage. We are the most beautiful coastline, as close as you can get to Silicon Valley. What does that mean? That means our hotel over here has the highest room rates of any hotel in the world. You can go to the Hotel de Cap in France, one of the most expensive hotels. Their room rates are not as high as the Ritz-Carlton Half Moon Bay on most weekends. This is a very serious place, and people want to be here. And the economics are dramatic, and people want to come across 92. And that's not going to go away. I mean, you can try to stop the ocean. Some have tried. It hasn't worked out well. And unfortunately, if you come from a 70s political environment, you think that you can just simply wave your hand and stop the ocean. Clearly, economics is something that sends some of the progressives to their safe room. But unfortunately, economics really does happen. And so governing this city is very tough, because you have to keep it viable. It'll be viable anyway. The economics will work. Silicon Valley is not going to go away, and they're not going to not want to come over here. So that's a reality. On the other hand, we have to protect the coast. It's a beautiful place. We have to put land aside. We have to protect it. We have to protect the ocean and environment. That creates a very difficult political situation, which requires balance, it requires common sense, it requires compromise and good discussion. That is not what we have today. We have radicals on the city council. They are experimenting with you. They're experimenting with this community. They're driving up energy prices. They're increasing homelessness. They're totally messing up the sewer situation. They're robbing the sewer fund so they can divert the money to their own uses, which is tragic. And they're not solving the traffic problem, which is what the citizens of Half Moon Bay and the citizens of the entire area here want. This is a radical group. I will share with you a note, an exchange I had with Debbie Runnick. When we had COVID, Debbie and I got into discussion about the city budget. And I told her that during COVID, when she was they were passing policies which were definitely shutting down Main Street businesses. People were getting laid off throughout this community. And I went back to her and I said, you have got to cut the city budget. You can't just float through this and then raise the tot, which they did, the occupancy tax. And you have got to reduce the headcount in city government, because you've already caused businesses across this community to cut staff, to put people out, to furlough them, to lay them off. And her response to me, and I'll read you her email to me. Just because private businesses screw their employees to protect the bottom line doesn't mean government has to join the race to the bottom to be fair and make the losers, you guys, feel good that everybody is getting screwed. The sooner we get rid of neoliberal bullshit, that is a code word for capitalism, for those of you who are not part of the woke generation, the better. That's an exact quote from her email to me in response to my request that she consider cutting city staff. This is a radical group, and this radical group is going to affect all of you. It's going to drive your energy prices up. It's going to limit your energy options. It's going to continue to mess traffic up, and it's not going to stop. It's actually getting worse. I mean, the pace of the stuff that's coming out of the city council is dramatic, and it's radical. And people in this community don't pay attention. They don't think about it. They don't read about it. They don't go to the city council meetings. They just don't pay attention. And it's critical that we begin to do that. And the answer is to find leadership like Bill Balson. Bill reads everything. He is a savant of politics and policy. He is very balanced, and he's also very tough. I seem like the tough guy, but he is actually much tougher than I am. He gets in there and really faces down people face to face and gets things done. And we've experienced it here in the community. So that, of course, leads me to my bottom line, which is your bottom line. You have got to give him some money. You have got to support him. Right now, there are very few things you can invest in that'll make you any money. If you watch the stock market, it is going on. I mean, it's like the hunt for Red October. We're in October, and this is the hunt for Red October. It is getting worse. We're going into the Laurentian Trench as fast as we can in terms of the economy. But there is one great investment you can make that will actually give you an astounding return, and that is to go on this website. I'm waiting for people to pull out their iPhones. Go on this website, go to this website, and give $250 to Bill, because the last round of the city council, one of the candidates spent upwards of $30,000 on his campaign. And that's a lot of money. And most of that money came from outside of this community. And the other city council members also were supported by volunteers and money from outside of Half Moon Bay. So people, aside from Half Moon Bay residents, are paying attention. And they understand why it's serious. And they understand why it's really important politics. And so you have got to get involved. And so I can only implore you, in your own best interest and your friends' best interest, to tell people this, convey this message, go on this website, put down the $250 per person, and really help Bill out, because it'll make a huge amount of difference, and it'll reverse what is getting to be a really bad trend. So Bill has also said, call him, expose him to the community. We've only got about 30 days. It's really important. This is a critical period. Need to raise some money, need to get the signs out there. We need to get twice as many signs out as the competition, because they have groups that go down and tear signs down. Virginia can speak to that. Virginia saw it during the campaign for County Board of Supervisors. There are organized groups by other candidates, who I won't mention, who have groups who go out and tear the signs down at night, of folks who are not radically progressive. And that is happening. It is hardball. It is not softball. It is hardball. And so if you care about your community, if you care about your taxes, if you want a good return on your investment, all I can do is encourage you. Please go on BillBalson2022.com, click on it, put in $250, push the button that says donate, and it'll be worth every penny that you invest. Thank you guys for coming. Michael.
It's true. You need that guy whispering in your ear.
Oh God.